Yakuza Time 2 Extreme Ultra Sexy Edition.
No, you plus ultra. You might even say
Turbo Edition.
hyper combo KO.
You're not going turbo, are you?
I think I finally saw the sequel to that a couple months ago.
Well, you saw
Pretty
more
much.
than I did then. I only ever saw the commercials.
Well, you ain't missing much.
From what I understand, literally the fucking scene that's in the commercial of the princesses is literally the best part of the movie. So there's no point in watching the movie because the rest of the movie is just bad. From what I've been told, at least. Feel free to confirm or deny this.
I didn't like the movie, but I saw it months ago and was like, yeah, I don't care about this movie to the point, oh, I'm not even going to mention it when next time I get on recording that I saw it. So...
I mean, it was months ago, so clearly, yeah.
I did finally get my physical copy of Shin Ultraman through.
Nice!
Which I haven't watched yet because I rewatched it illegally because when I watched it, because after getting sick and tired of it getting no official release date, I did, you know, the decent thing, I pirated the fuck out of it. And then, like, within a week, they were like, oh yeah, it's coming out on this day.
I was so close to doing that with fucking Superhero.
Oh, and then of course it came out, and then of course when it was meant to come out, it took an extra month for it to actually come out, so you know. That was fun.
I still need to watch, I did get in the mail, and I'll explain why I didn't watch an unofficial version. The last Project A movie. I got the Blu-ray of it. I need to sit down and watch it. The reason I didn't watch the unofficial ones is that the unofficial ones are still based off of, the old, Laserdisc ones, copies, where this is like the film master. So, better picture quality. I know, I'm a slut. I want better picture quality. That's literally the only reason I held off on it. Because I was like, well, I could watch it, but...
I mean, I've heard sillier reasons for people to hold on to technically worse versions.
Oh, no. It's no. The unofficial would be worse because it wouldn't be the film master version. Because the discotheque release uses the film reels.
Oh, I meant to say to you know well, I meant to actually say the opposite of what I said, but too late now.
Wait, hold on. I think I drank the wrong thing. Oh yeah, I drank the heat one. Whoopsies.
Oh no, Dan accidentally drank poison.
Ah, poison for Cusco.
Oh great. Cosmic Kiryu becomes a llama.
You know what? I'm gonna turn around back to Don Quixote and pick up some healing items. But yeah, I just gotta sit down and watch it. It's the last one of them, because there were 4 fucking films in total. I'm hoping it's at least better than 2 and 3, because 2 and 3 are like, neither of them are as good as 1. 2 does things better than 3 in some ways, and 3 does things better than 2 in others, and it's... Neither of them are, like, are close to as good as the original, but they're fun. They're fine. So I'm hoping this is at least somewhere... I'm not expecting it to be better than the first movie, but I just want it to be better than those 2.
That's fair.
That's all I want. I never... Whenever I watch a sequel or anything like that, I never expect it to be better than the original. I only expect video game sequels to be better than the original.
Well, no, some movie sequels actually do manage it.
Some do, but they're not the majority.
Let's see off the top of my head. Obviously, you know, the easy ones: Empire, Spider-Man 2,
Shrek 2.
Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
It's literally the peak of the franchise. Fight me.
Oh no, I actually agree.
Oh, I think most sane people agree.
Like
that
I like
Toy
3.
Story...
I like 3 a lot, but 2 is definitely the peak.
I put it as the Toy Story 2 is like, yeah, the highest point the franchise goes, and Toy Story 3 is like kind of the okay, well, it exists, it's fine, I like it, but I'm happy that it exists as an ending. So you know, real happy that it's not an ending anymore. And it's all basically trash. Thanks Disney. Thanks Iger. have fun with have fun with having no actors and or writers. Hunts.
Oh, don't worry, they're gonna go into AI.
Other sequels that are just flat out better than the originals. That are movies and not video games. I mean, there's others, but I'm like probably not thinking of them at the moment.
Like, I mean, if we... Oh, Terminator 2, did you mention that one already?
No, I didn't. But yeah, we can say Terminator 2.
And the series ended there.
They never made another Terminator, because why would they? That would be utterly ridiculous.
That would be stupid, honestly.
Be one of the worst decisions any human being could make.
Which is why they never did it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I give them credit for, you know, staying their hand like that. A lot of studios wouldn't stay their hand.
Yeah, well, I really like game sequels are definitely more commonly better than tend to, on average, be. I mean, with games it tends to be 1 is good or fine, 2 is like way better, and then 3 is like.
3 is a toss-up.
3, I can't really think of a whole lot of games where like the furthest one is like better than 2.
Let's see here, DMC 3.
Oh yeah. Wait, no, there is no DMC 2. What are you talking about?
DMC 2 is best. Don't they shoot gun? But like, honestly, DMC 3 is literally where the series for me is where I like it. I don't really like 1 or, and I obviously don't like 2. I'm not insane. Like, come on. I know it's a little bit of a take to say, like, I don't really like 1 that much, but 2, I'm not crazy enough to say that that's good, even if, only for a bit, for like 5 seconds before I go, no, it's actually not. Don't play it.
No one could be that contrarian hipster to say DMC2 is good.
I mean, if you want me to say this at least, I'd play Devil May Cry 1 over DMC, the DMC Dante.
That's fair.
Because, I mean, if you're really like, oh, well, the gameplay things are technically better, yada yada, I'd be like, yeah, but the story pisses me the fuck off. It's actively annoying, even if I don't credit it as a Devil May Cry game, or, like, as the same thing. It's just fucking annoying. Actually, I had a thought the other day, because, if you remember the fuckers that were, when they were doing the presentation on it, they were like, yeah, our characters, unlike in those Japanese games, our women are strong, and none of them fucking are, and they're all worthless in that game.
Well, one of them.
Well, the other one gets shot in the vajayjay and gets your baby.
Oh yeah, the one who gets the forced abortion.
And then the other one's a dependent, like, pathetic dependent cunt.
No, it's fine, because she's a relevant character, because you have to block her so she could, you know, unlock the gate or whatever it is. That makes her important, that means she's technical.
But, I was thinking about the other day, that, and also, something I really noticed and realized is that even, like, back in, like, the NES and SNES days, there were plenty of Japanese games with female leads, and I feel like this is, like, Western devs having, like, this weird, like, they're trying to compensate for the fact that for the longest time they were like, no, we can't have a female lead in our game. And I feel like it's them trying to compensate, pretend like they're better when they're, honestly, they've been decades behind on that.
Oh, it's not even that, it's just another way they can pretend that it's like PR, like, remember, design docs and stuff like, or not design docs, but like presentations like that are literally just PR bullshit.
Yeah.
That you just say in order to get people to believe in your crappy product.
I think the thing is, like, yeah, but at the same time, I think these devs believe the shit they're smoking.
Well, I can believe that they believe it.
That's what I'm saying. I think they believe their own bullshit. They smell their own farts. And, that's what I'm getting at. But yeah, it was something that I really came to realize. I was thinking about, like, there's a ton of Sega games, even ones that got released here, that just have, like, cool female leads, like Alicia's Dragoon and shit. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I think it's just the West has been fucking behind on that for literally decades. And now they're, like, starting to do it, but honestly, none of them have really been that good. I'll be honest, I don't like any of them. I think they're just kind of bland. Like, bland characters. Like, I don't like Bayonetta that much as a game, but I think the character's cool. If that makes any damn sense.
Yeah, I get you.
But it was just something that I kind of had this, like, while I was at work, bored, because it was slow at the time, where it just kind of hit me. I was like, huh, I wonder.
Had a premonition.
Yeah. Oh, you know what, let me upgrade myself before these guys run up and start punching me in the throat.
I mean, there's a whole lot of things to go into about, like, female characters in fiction that over, like, the last sort of 40-year period. Because I was actually weirdly thinking of a similar thing where I thought, man, the 2000s was just, like, possibly the worst time.
Specifically in fucking Western games.
Well, because it's like...
And Japanese games suffered a bit in the PS3 when they were all trying to clamor to be Western games, which was really stupid.
Well, I was actually not even thinking games, I was thinking in terms of, like, movies and stuff as well, because, like, in the 80s you have, you know, characters like Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley, Samus, you know, characters who are headlining these sort of big tentpole franchises. And, like, the 90s, that kind of didn't happen a whole lot. Everything became a lot more sort of demure. Like, I kind of blame a lot of that on, like, magical girls stuff becoming a bit more prevalent.
You're talking about in Japan stuff, yeah, because like the tsundere kind of fell off like in the late '90s, for example. For that archetype kind of fell off in the late '90s, early 2000s. Like they still were around. Like you still had like Lena and Zoids acting out like a fucking psychopath, and it was fucking hilarious. But you had a lot of the Miki waifu types.
And
And don't get me wrong, you can make a good demure character. Like, Sailor Mercury's a good character, but that's because being demure isn't her entire fucking character.
I think it's all a matter of, like, what the actual, like, just having extra depth to a character can make even a...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Great. But my point is that, like, I kind of think, like, sort of 2000 to 2010 is, like, the dark age for women in fiction a lot of the time.
Oh.
Did you have, like,
That's where you went.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where this last guy was.
Oh, I thought you were wondering where I was going.
No. I was like, where the fuck is this guy? So I was like climbing all over the place, and he just... I knocked him all the way over here from the bridge. Whoops. Anyway, continue, sorry.
Yeah, I kind of, as I said, I was kind of thinking, like, in a lot of ways it feels like, sort of early 2000s, late, like, you know, very late 90s, sort of, or like from like 99 to like 2000.
Well, 99 from 2000, because early 90s was a lot of the go get 'em girl stuff. Because that was a lot of that in, like, at least in Western shit.
Well, you had like the things like the Dark Age of comic books came along, where obviously you have like women in ridiculously skimpy outfits and whatever, but most of them were also, for lack of a better term, crazy bitches.
Yeah.
Whereas I kind of feel like from sort of 99 to about 2010, you just had a lot of characters with significant importance, allegedly, were pretty much there for just either eye candy or so the main character has a case of the not gays.
Also, one thing I'll say about Magical Girl stuff, as someone who's a connoisseur of it, a lot of Magical Girl protagonists are not demure. In fact, I was trying to think of one who was, and I couldn't really draw a name out of a box in my head.
I didn't mean like they are, but I think that kind of also pushed a lot of things, because you had, not saying it's necessarily the case with like with it, but like I almost want to say Card Captor Sakura being Sakura being more like I guess I'm anything.
Watch, because I'm a Sakura fan. I can easily debunk whatever you say if you're not careful.
I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, but I kind of feel like
she is not demure at all.
No, but I was trying to say that because that one leans more into it being almost cutesy, like, because obviously they're much younger characters, or at least physically looking, than other similar shows. Like, you know, you have things like Magic Knight Rayearth, for instance, which is about characters that I think are technically meant to be the same age, but also...
Sakura is about... I want to say, if I remember... And this is me going off memory, so I could be wrong. Is like 9 years old. The Rayearth casts are 14, 15. They're like around the same age as like Sailor Moon cast. Well, Sailor Moon cast at the start. They get a little older as the series progresses, but you get my point. Because they do go to high school by the end of Sailor Moon. Where Sakura is a elementary school student.
Yeah.
I'm big on Magical Girl stuff, and these are like some of my favorite ones, so it's easier for me to remember little aspects and talk about it. Oh, let me fight these guys. I could use the experience. Oh, so it's fun to beat people up in this game. Anyway, but yeah, that was just one of those random things that I thought about when I was at work.
Oh yeah, new Turtles movie comes out.
Yeah,
soon.
and I can't say that I have much interest in it.
You know what movie you should have interest in? The Venture Brothers movie.
Yeah, I definitely do want to watch that. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, you know what? Before I talk about the Venture, one thing with Venture Brothers, not the show itself. The show itself is good, and I do want to talk about it a little bit because I did rewatch a bunch of it while I was on vacation. The Turtles movie did something immediately that made me not be interested. Two things. If I recall, I think it's written or directed by Seth Rogen and also has him in the voice cast. And I don't fucking like Seth Rogen.
I don't think a lot of people do.
So as soon as I saw him, I was just like, nah, no thank you. I was just like, no thank you, Seth Rogen. I'm done. That's fine. I'll just watch the next Turtles thing that doesn't have you in it. Seth Rogen! I'm so fucking tired of Seth Rogen.
I'm sure you're Seth Rogen is tired of Seth Rogen at this point.
No, I don't think he is.
Definitely not.
No. We wish he was tired of himself.
Maybe I'm tired of him. Anyway, I mean, but yeah, Venture Brothers. Let's talk about Venture Brothers. I love Venture Brothers.
So one thing that actually I forgot, honestly, like, so a lot of shows when they start off early are a little bit rough around the edges. There's like little like things that aren't like super great with them. One thing I'd say about Venture Brothers is honestly, like, even like the first episode is pretty fucking good. And I forgot how, like, honestly, right off the bat, how cynical it is. Like, it doesn't even wait to be like, yeah, Rusty's a piece of shit. First episode, yeah, Rusty's a piece of shit.
Yep.
It didn't even wait.
Why would it wait? I mean, I will say, comparatively, like, obviously, I think Venture Brothers Season 1 is the weakest. Like, I think that's kind of the nature of the beast, because it has the sloppiest animation, things aren't quite set in stone. But I think even at its weakest, it's better than a lot of shows' peaks.
Yeah, I actually agree. I was honestly surprised by, honestly, how not rough the early episodes were. Like, I was expecting it to be a lot rougher. Like, and they were genuinely funny. Like, I was like, this is good. This is good shit.
I think a lot of it is because even though they have their, obviously, baseline thing they're parodying, which is Johnny Quest of all things.
Yeah.
Even having Race Bannon show up. Oh, hey, speaking of people showing up.
Ha, you thought I had died.
Yeah, I thought you were in Greece, so...
No.
Ah, that's sad.
That's a shame.
Why would I have gone to Greece?
I don't know. But, yeah, we're just talking about Venture Brothers.
And,
yes,
because I started rewatching it for the movie, and, I was basically just saying that I was genuinely surprised by how good even, like, it is, like, even within, like, the first episode. Like, I was expecting it to be a lot rougher.
I think a lot of it stems from the fact that even though, yes, it's, like, built off of being a parody of something
Which is a
very
lot of
specific.
Adult Swim stuff was back then, to be fair.
I mean, a lot of adults. I mean, you should be thankful Venture Brothers has any animation at all, considering a lot of other Adult Swim stuff at the time is C-Lab 2022 or 21 or whatever, which doesn't have any animation because it's all just repurposed from the original C-Lab show or Harvey Birdman
or Space Ghost.
Well, actually, no, Harvey Birdman had decent animation, but Space Ghost, yep, no animation.
Yeah, I guess you should be lucky. It's not just, you know, Johnny Quest.
Even though Johnny Quest does almost show up with everyone's favorite drug-addled psychopath action Johnny. Well,
But yeah, no, it's just like surprisingly like a good show from like start to finish, and I was like, oh, okay.
honestly, the reason why it works is because unlike other shows which do like referential humor or parody, Venture Brothers actually knows what it's talking about. Because hey, these people actually like and or have extensive knowledge about the properties they're dealing with or making fun of or being in reference to.
Like the fucking like
it's not
I
like doing.
God, sorry. Like I'll say like even like one of the early episodes like that I really liked was the fucking space station episode.
Yeah.
Like that episode is really fucking funny. It's really good.
And incredibly important in retrospect.
Yeah.
But I think of it, the obvious parallel for parodies is like Rick and Morty, because in like I think the last season I watched before I gave up, but also before,
Which is probably way after I gave up.
oh yeah, had like a Voltron parody, which felt incredibly weird because it was all like the most stereotypical anime dub jokes you could ever make.
Like
It
not
was like-
too far from like when Simpsons tries to do anime jokes.
It was like that, or it was like when fucking, you know, in that period in the 2000s where every show had a Dragon Ball Z parody, and it was all or a Speed Racer parodies, and it was all that shit, and it's like
Sailor
wow,
Moon if they're feeling spicy.
This is all stuff that has been done like 10 billion times before, and and at times when it was arguably when it was irrelevant or not accurate then. Because I mean, how fucking we've been so far removed from fucking Speed Racer quality dubs for like what 40 fucking years.
Like honestly, like truly terrible dubs haven't been a thing in like 20 plus years. Like truly bad dubs.
Yeah, because they stopped airing it on TV.
And also, let's be completely fair. Part of the only reason the Speed Racer dub is bad is because it has to do with because they couldn't fucking redraw the lip flaps, so you have all the characters are trying to cram in like fucking reams of dialogue because Japanese literally doesn't take anywhere near as long to say a sentence in Japanese as it does to say it in English. So it's like that's why they're all very fast talking and going a mile a minute and just having to say stupid shit because otherwise there's literally no time to get it in the episode.
Yeah. And it's a funny joke, but only for people who are 1 foot in the grave now. Like, we get the joke out of osmosis, but like, it's so far removed now. If we do that same joke to someone who's younger, they'll be like, "Why the fuck are you doing that? What are you doing?"
Now we live in a period where anime dubs are respectable.
Like,
nay, sometimes the dub can even surpass the sub.
Yeah, there are. So like, I'll watch a dub for convenience sake. There are ones where I prefer and won't watch the dub just because I just either I'm used to or I just prefer the Japanese one harder. But sometimes it goes the other way around. Like how I'm just so used to the dub of Dragon Ball that was one of the big reasons why I held off on just watching it through other means, because I wanted to watch the dub because it's what I'm used to, it's what I like. Not to say the sub is bad, it's just, you know.
But yeah, if I ever mentioned I caved and got a Crunchyroll account, so I have been going through a bunch of random shows that I've always had mild interest in, and or new shows that
That means you could watch the new season of RWBY.
I mean, you're right. I could.
I mean, the last season of RWBY, the final season of RWBY.
Do you know what I watched instead?
What?
I watched Trails of Cold Steel.
I mean, that wasn't exactly the greatest either.
No, but it's way more entertaining than RWBY. It was over quicker.
That's true. It was over pretty quick.
And hey, we got to see all of those characters that we know and love. I'll let you know when I remember literally anyone's names except the main girls. Gonna be here for a while.
Oh.
But yeah, I've been using it to like sort of go through a bunch of stuff that I've like either had mild interest in before and never got around to, or just, you know, stuff that has caught my eye, and just yeah, going for dubs because if I want background noise,
It's you can have it in the background a lot easier that way. So if you're working on something, you can do it.
Well, long story short, I was actually going to use this as a segue into, like, I didn't watch it on Crunchyroll, I watched it before, but I did sort of appreciate, like, the that Kaguya show, but more specifically, the fucking narrator is way better in English.
Kaguya?
Yeah, Love of His War or something.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's a fairly popular series that's been memed for a bit, but
I am
funny.
so
Has
like
pretty great dub.
My thumb is so far off the pulse of what's popular these days. It's kind of funny. Like,
I also used it to watch Witch from Mercury, which I've already talked about.
Yeah. Where you kind of where we were like, yeah, I liked it. You're like, it's okay, and that's pretty much where I figured you and I would stand on it. That's just the summary. Obviously, we had more to say before. We already did that in the last episode.
Oh yeah, speaking of Cold Steel, I actually built my first model kit 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
It was Valimar, the Ashen Knight. Now he's on my shelf, posing with his massive Tachi.
I'm still really excited for obviously Armored Core. Like they showed some more of the gameplay.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I'm really excited.
And I can't wait to play that. As kind of a way, since I never played it before, is the way it kind of tied me over while I waited and playing more Daemon X Machina.
Ah, neat.
Which is pretty fun. I like it.
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with it. It very much was like, well, FromSoft isn't going to make Armored Core, we'll have Armored Core at home.
Yeah, that's actually
Which
what.
bad.
Yeah, no, that's like what happened with the Project Wingman, where Project Wingman was in development because it was like, oh, Namco's just not going to make another one, and then Namco was quietly making one, and they both released around the same time as each other.
And then Namco made the best one.
Yeah, and we know that they're working on another one. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that in the future.
A7 did fucking amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we know it's coming out because they've confirmed it, but I am looking forward to when we get to see it and they announce it and all that, because I want more Jets, man.
Man, that's weird that we've in the same conversation accidentally referenced two DC Douglas games.
Shit, you're right.
Oh yeah, same. I've been playing through more Reverie.
How far?
So I've got to the part where everyone's in Crossbell finally.
Yay.
And Swin and Nadia met the Emperor. Well, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he's...
It's just, this one character rocks up and they're like, oh my god, it's the Emperor. And I'm like, I've played every game. I literally don't know who the fuck this is. Like, come on, game. I've played like how many of you at this point? How can you still be pulling the shit?
No, it's the Emperor. I've never heard of the Emperor. Well, I'm the Emperor. Oh, he's bad news.
You didn't read the novel series or mini novel series included in Cold Steel 4? No? Should I? But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Rufus, I like the whole thing where sorry, I said Rufus, I meant to say C was all, oh, Lapis, I know who you are, you're Lapis. And then everyone's like, how did you know it was Lapis? And you see I had a transponder on her. So I would always know where she was in case someone stole her.
He's like, yeah, I put a transponder on her in case she got lost or somebody stole her. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be using it to pick her out of a dozen of her, but what can you do?
Good job, Rufus. I mean, C, he's definitely not Rufus.
Why the mysterious man.
It's C. He's definitely not Rufus. Why are you insisting he's called Rufus?
How could I be Rufus when Rufus is also being Hitler at the moment?
I think literally where I also left off, it's like in Mines. I was going to say hooked up with Noelle, and it's like it's technically possible true, and met Randy again. Feels weird that that's literally the whole like second half. That's the whole like second half of Azure, and we're just doing. Oh look, Tio's at the hospital. Randy's fighting. Basically doing a one-man war of independence.
No, they're basically doing it on purpose. People are U.S. players were actually complaining about that. Because they're like, we just played Zero in Azure, and then we played a game that is basically just Zero in Azure again. And they're like, well, you see, in Japan there was a 10-year release between the games, and this was supposed to be nostalgic. And they're like, well, it's not. Maybe they should have. Maybe they should have given us the games earlier. Then, if that was the correct way to enjoy this.
Yeah, it is an incredibly weird turn of events, though, that they did it that way. But what can you do?
Well, the PS. Yeah, well, Zero and Azure were only on PSP, and by the time they got Sky 2 out, the PSP had died. And this Chinese company had like exclusive PC rights to the game for like a decade, so there was nothing they could do.
China.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, I'm enjoying Reverie. I think I'm still kind of it's still very much at that stage of, alright, can we just kind of get on with it now?
Get on with it! Get on with it!
Well, I mean, there are 3 stories, but it does kind of feel like only one of the stories really matters and the other 2 are just spinning wheels until that story wraps up into it. But hey, I got to see the evil, surprised ape Divine Knight, so that's good. I do already know the twist, but no, that's what happens when your games come out like 3 fucking years too late.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
I know, that reminds me of anytime someone's getting into like a show or something that's like really old, and they happen to see like people talking in a different thread about it and spoil it. Like, oh god, oh thanks guys for spoiling it for me. It's like the show is 40 years old. Did you?
Yeah, it's like the show's like
Zeta Gundam is 40 years old, bud. What do you want? It's older than 40. It's, I think at this point, Zeta Gundam's old as shit, man. What do you want? People are gonna make jokes. It's like saying Snape killed Dumbledore, but, you know, actually today.
Well...
Some people actually still don't know that.
That's funny.
Because either they were really young and went into Harry Potter when it came out, and they don't care about it now.
So, I want to say something really funny about the game I'm playing right now. So, obviously this is using the same engine and using the same map that was made in, for Yakuza 6. They forgot to change the Virtual Fighter poster.
Yeah.
Because this is for 5.
Yeah.
This game doesn't come out for like 2 decades in the timeline.
See, they were just... no, what happens is this arcade was just really hedging it. His bets.
Ah.
They're like, well, I'm sure Virtua Fighter will go on to like a 5th installment.
I mean, they were right. Unfortunately, we never got a 6th.
Maybe one day you'll get a 6th. Anything can come back if you wish hard enough. Meanwhile, Mattel has already announced their cinematic Mattel board game cinematic universe.
Stop making everything a cinematic universe for fuck's sake.
Because it made money. That means that means other Mattel things will make money.
I can't wait for the Uno movie, which I joke. I'm pretty sure they're actually making.
I mean, at least the theoretical Nintendo Cinematic Universe would probably work better.
I don't know, man. I don't think you'll recapture like the Mario. Well, for starters, they're gonna do a Zelda one. I don't think the Zelda one will work because all the tricks they got away with for Mario, I don't think will fit with Zelda. And I think even the diehard Zelda fans are not going to be as happy about seeing minion shit with the Zelda.
Do you think they won't like seeing like Link Fortnite dance?
Yeah.
And like Seth Rogen voicing Ganon? And Seth Rogen voicing something.
The Legend of Zelda movie. Yeah, sorry. I think the Legend of Zelda movie is not going to be anywhere near as beloved and popular as the Mario movie has been proven to be. They'll never make a Metroid movie.
No.
And even beyond the usual fact of Nintendo hates Metroid, I'll tell you for why. Because a Metroid movie already exists. It's called Alien. So
yeah, the Twisted Metroid would be hard to do in real life.
Well, so Metroid you can't really do because also like Metroid's all weird body horror stuff, which also doesn't really translate well for a kids movie.
No.
Okay. So that you can't do Metroid, but you could do Star Fox. You could do an F-Zero.
No, Miyamoto doesn't like that. Miyamoto won't allow that.
So you can't do F-Zero.
He'll be like, do Pikmin.
A fucking Pikmin movie.
You know, actually, I wanna rag on Pikmin for a second.
Go for it.
So, fucking Pikmin has never fucking sold well, and this motherfucker has snuffed the life out of Star Fox and F-Zero, and constantly makes sure that there's a new Pikmin game, and make sure they're constantly re-released onto every goddamn system. They never sell!
It's crazy, isn't it?
This fucking old bastard, just because he likes it.
So yeah, so Zelda's kind of I would say was the Doom project from the start. Metroid won't happen for a number of reasons. Star Fox probably won't happen because it'd be the only other viable property, and even then I think no, they won't do it because Miyamoto and Nintendo hates Star Fox. F-Zero ain't gonna ever happen. Ever. Shut the fuck up about F-Zero.
Because Miyamoto will not allow that also. By the way, you know what's really funny too? That also added to my Pikmin rant? Is the fact that this same motherfucker is the one who's like, oh, we don't want to focus on re-releases, we want to focus on new experiences. He says, with a straight face, re-releasing Pikmin on every goddamn system! And also Ice Climbers. I don't think I forgot about that, you old cunt.
That's another thing, you can't have a Kid Icarus movie.
Yeah, we can't have Kid Icarus either. We can't re-release that either, because people like that shit. Only re-release the shitty Miyamoto games.
We couldn't have a Kid Icarus movie, so we also probably can't get a, I mean, I guess we could get a Fire Emblem movie, but who gives a fuck, who gives a fuck about Fire Emblem?
I don't,
intellectual.
Like, I like Fire Emblem, but, like, unless you're making an anime movie in Japan, it's not gonna really...
That's my point.
And there was one in Japan, actually, an anime, like, OVA, I think?
Yeah, probably. But that was my point, is that Fire Emblem has a very specific kind of people it caters to, and I don't think an Illumination movie will really appeal to those people. So there's that issue. Yeah, there's Fire Emblem, you can't do anything. Pokemon, I mean, you could do something with Pokemon. Detective Pikachu exists. But... And I don't think Nintendo has a single other property other than the ones we've listed. And if they do, they're probably not worth talking about because, let's be honest, Nintendo probably forgot they had them.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because Hollywood shut down, so...
Yeah, no, Hollywood is also dead.
Yeah.
And good riddance.
Fuck 'em.
And now they're doing stuff like telling influencers and content creators that they should also be careful as to what they release because they should be in solidarity with the Screen Actors Guild, and they're like, why?
We don't get paid by you. We don't get any benefits.
Yeah, they don't really have a reason to be honest.
Well, the reason is they're like, well, in the future we were thinking about adding influencers to our sphere of influence, and if we find out you've been working during the strike, we might decide we don't want you as membership. And a lot of people are like, okay.
You weren't going to do it anyway.
You weren't going to do it.
Like, don't fucking lie.
Yeah, stop lying.
I mean, I'm in support of a number of things. I think some of the things they're asking for are fucking ridiculous.
Like what are the ridiculous things? I don't know all this that they're asking for. Like, what? I'm curious.
So the main points they're asking for that are relevant is protection against AI.
Yeah.
They're also asking, which acceptable, completely fair,
completely sensible.
They're asking for basically revenue off of streaming because in the old days you'd get obviously money for your for whatever show you were on that would be rebroadcast or whatever. And of course, with streaming, you don't get that because none of the big streaming companies ever share their details or like viewing numbers, except if they want to say, "Well, we had the best, we're the best. This was the biggest streaming show of this week or whatever." I think, but there was one point that was like really iffy, and I'm struggling. And I don't really want to say what it might be because I think I could also be wrong. But as I said, I mostly agree with what they're saying. But then I also think a lot of some of the things, it's like for instance, pulling this crap with it's easy when you're a multi-millionaire, and you know everything, and you don't have to do any work to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, I'll just not do any work this year while I strike." It's not less easy if you're like smaller name actors or writers or people like that who are not going to get paid. Like, I think the average for a writer in Hollywood is like $73,000 a year.
Yeah, the average writer is not swimming in cash.
I mean, 73,000 as out on average, it isn't a bad figure.
Yeah, like they're making like decent living wage and shit, but like.
But the reason I mention that is because obviously there's a huge disparity between people who get paid to churn out absolute dreck at the top level versus people who get paid nothing to turn out stuff at the bottom level.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say that because, I mean, I don't know, man, some writers should never have been ever fucking paid. The guy who wrote Bumblebee pissing on a dude, he should have not been paid a cent.
Yeah.
He should be like, your payment is you get to live, you scum.
It's kind of like how, like in comic books, like, there are writers who are much better than him, but, Dan Slott's making the bigger bucks than they are.
It's because he's, award-winning.
Award-winning comic book writer, Dan Slott.
Razzie is also an award, right?
He has not run a Razzie, unfortunately. Even though he deserves them.
You're not allowed to give people Razzies anymore.
Good question. I haven't heard the term Razzie in a long time.
I know they had to stop doing it to child actors because someone said it's not fair, and it's like, on one level I agree.
Child actors are bullied enough.
Well, on another level I also say fuck them.
I just know Halle Berry got one for Catwoman, and she showed up with like her Oscar that she won for a better movie.
That's really funny.
And she just put it on. She just put it on the podium, and then put the Razzie next to it, and she's just like, "Yeah, well, what can I say?"
That's really funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, to be fair, she took it all completely in stride.
Which is good. It's honestly good to not take yourself too seriously.
I mean, her whole thing is basically like, look, when they signed me on the Catwoman, they said it was going to be a lot different than what it actually was. I just did what I was told. I just did what I was told to do.
Listen, I'll be real. If you were giving me a decent paycheck to play in a shitty movie, I'd do it. I don't fucking care. I'll take the money.
It's fun to do shitty movies.
Yeah, honestly, it could be fun. You can just ham it up at that point, because who gives a shit?
I mean, there's a famous quote by oh fuck, why am I forgetting his name? My brain. Michael Caine, that was it. There's a famous quote by Michael Caine where someone asked, "Have you seen Jaws 4?" And he said, "No, but I have seen the house it paid for, and it's lovely."
Oh, good to Key Cat.
Which, fair enough.
But yeah, no, it's important to be able to take it in stride, because like it or not, people are when you're in that kind of line of work, people are going to say a lot of shit about whatever you work on. And as nasty as this might sound, you really need thick skin for that.
Yeah. Yes, I killed people, some of whom you even like.
And I could say that as someone who's been doing mediocre content online long enough to be told to kill myself multiple times.
And
I don't bring those up as much because they're not nearly as funny to talk about as like someone saying that versus like someone in two different situations saying that I hate all video games because I don't like Sonic Adventure 2 or Mario Sunshine. It's strange that it happened twice, but God, I could use those nickels.
I was actually thinking about how, like, I mean, we said before, the tragedy of people not growing up in the Wild West days of the internet. where when nothing was sort of clean cut, and the worst thing YouTubers usually did was just be cunts to each other.
YouTubers being cunts to each other was like every other day. Literally, drama YouTubers was a whole genre that was a thing. Rant YouTubers having their in-fights with each other, where they'd just be arguing with each other over some stupid bullshit because someone didn't like a cartoon the other one liked usually.
Remember, it used to be like someone would make a video, and someone would make a response to the video, and then a response to the
Oh god, response videos, yeah!
In an infinite fucking chain of responses.
Oh yeah, sometimes those rabbit holes were really fun to go down to because they were just so fucking insane. I miss response videos. People...
Remember when they had the actual feature that let you just put a video as a response to something directly?
Yeah,
which was a terrible idea.
I remember that.
It's such a terrible idea. You're amazed YouTube's not brought it back.
That's actually what people used to do back in the day to get noticed. They would just respond to videos.
Yeah, completely useless content, but they just...
Sometimes it was irrelevant, too, just so they could get noticed.
Yeah. Get that E-fame.
Oh.
I'm sure if I really went down the rabbit hole, you could probably find a couple of people that people know about today that essentially got famous by doing that stupid shit.
Probably.
But I don't have the time. I don't have the time or give a shit enough to go down that rabbit hole and look.
But it's like, yeah, people of the younger generations will never know the pain. And really, have they even lived at that point then? But yeah. How's your week been, Sabo?
Pretty blah.
That's good.
Well,
sometimes it's better than bad.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not the worst week I've had.
I'll take a blah week over a shit week, honestly. Like any week, I'll take that. It's just better. God.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah. What is it? Just a dumb thing. So Mortal Kombat fans are getting tired of being told that their game's music sucks. And I just saw a thread where this person's like, yeah, if it sucks, listen to this music. And then I listened to it, and it sounded like the music you'd hear on a DVD menu screen. Like, you know, that type of like, with like the generic orchestral playing.
One of those.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Well.
And I'm like, wow, if this is what you're listening to, man. God, I hope you don't drink anything more than water with no ice, because that might be too spicy for you.
Let's play Ken's theme.
Which Ken theme?
I like Ken's theme. You know what? I like the Street Fighter 5. I think Street Fighter 5 version might be my favorite because there's one video that mashes up with Stand Proud from JoJo, and it's like
I can't rag Street Fighter 5. I rag on for many things, but the soundtrack is pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it has fucking Rashido, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 6's Rashid theme isn't even half as good.
And you know, basically any Arxis things, if they get their usual guy to do the soundtrack, probably going to be a good time.
King of Fighters has a great OST every time. Like, there's only a couple of games in the series that have bad OSTs. Like, to where it's honestly harder to find the bad ones than the good ones if you're, like, throwing a dart at a board. Like, most fighting games have good soundtracks, it's just Mortal Kombat is a very soundtrack and always has.
Mortal Kombat is basically just metallic, industrial.
And Mortal Kombat in general is very meh. Unless you like fighting underwater, then it's great. Best game you'll ever play then.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there probably is some random underwater fighter that's better than Mortal Kombat.
There might be, but I don't know if there is, so I can't say that there is one unless I know there's one. You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the music has never been that great. Like, there are some character designs that are alright in the series, and there's some characters I'm like, yeah, they'd be okay in another game. And then you have shit like fucking, Shao Kahn, like their big premier villain, their Bison, and he's got that fucking skull mask, but it's got the little teeth on the front, so it looks like he's always going, every time he looks at you. I can't fucking take him seriously. It's just when he's looking at me like, George. Fucking.
You say you don't like Shao Kahn?
I'm saying he looks lame.
How dare you, Shao Kahn?
He's so uncool.
Shao Kahn has been my favorite villain for
never.
Yeah, never. I can't even joke about it.
He's so fucking boring looking. Like the only boss in Mortal Kombat I'm like, yeah, they're all right looking is like Goro, and it's just his forearms, and that's it. I think it's.
Do you think it's very telling that for Mortal Kombat 1, like all the promo stuff is just the crossover characters?
Yes.
It's like any video I see of like Mortal Kombat 1, the thumbnail.
Hey, look, we have Omni-Man.
Always Omni-Man.
Hey, look,
guys, it's Omni-Man. He's here.
It's Homelander. It's Omni-Man.
Sometimes it's Homelander, and I'm like, You know, other fighting games, better fighting games, have had crossover characters, and I don't feel the need to make it all of their promotion. It's like, hey, Akuma was in Tekken 7. Was he the only character in Tekken 7?
I don't know. I vaguely remember one of the games from like a while back, like a decade plus back, with their whole thing is like, hey, look at our guest characters in this game.
Hey, look. Actually, to be fair, Train, Akuma was an important part of Tekken 7's story.
Oh, he is an important part, but he's not all over the promotion.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like, the promotion was entire.
I mean, they had fucking, to be fair, they had, even though I don't like it, like the series, they had fucking Negan at the height of Walking Dead, and other than saying, like, hey, Negan's here, when they were advertising the DLC, they didn't show him all over the place.
Oh, I know they didn't do it for the last one. I just meant that for this one specifically.
Oh yeah, this one actually, like, the most we've heard about when it comes to guest characters in Tekken 8 is Harada said we'd rather focus on the existing characters in our own thing first.
It was Soul Calibur 2.
Oh yeah, Soul Calibur 2 was one where
the whole thing where it's like, hey, do you want Link, Heihachi, or Spawn?
Oh yeah, with 2.
They're literally
honestly,
on the cover of the game.
And honestly, I think that's the reason why people like 2 the most, and I hate that. Because honestly, I think they were like the worst part of 2. And I still say 3 is the better game. Fuck off.
Meanwhile, there's me the Tekken 4, the Soul Calibur 4 at Joya.
Soul Calibur 4 is alright. I think it has the issue of it came out after 3, having way less content than 2 or 3, and then it has the other issue of the next game after it being like the most hated in the series, and then after that, like one of the more popular entries.
Yeah, but you know what Soul Calibur 4 did have? It had Starkiller. My favorite Star Wars character. Cool. Bring back Starkiller, why not?
I don't think you'd be able to get him back considering Disney owns him now.
Oh, I didn't mean that, I just meant in general, bring back Starkiller.
Oh, okay.
No, Star Wars they're stepping back from Star Wars.
Yeah, because they massively fucked it, because they came up with possibly the stupidest idea, which was to have a hotel that cost like fucking $4,000 a night or something for a crappy Star Wars themed hotel. And it's like, who the fuck did you think was going to buy into this? Like, genuinely, who?
They were counting on the millionaire Star Wars fans.
All 3 of them.
Yeah.
But if you're a millionaire Star Wars fan, you're just going to convert your home into a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, that's someone says Disney priced out everyone hoping to get the millionaire crowd, not realizing the millionaire crowd has better things to do with their time and money than Disney World. No matter how well you cater to them.
They already have their Star Wars room.
Yeah.
They don't need to have, like, Jeremy dressed up as a stormtrooper. It was just a really dumb idea, honestly.
Yeah,
Like a lot,
honestly.
like almost everything that they've done with Star Wars has been a dumb idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the ideas that weren't stupid were good or not stupid by accident.
I mean, the ideas that weren't stupid were ones they'd already stolen from people before.
Yeah. Or then they eventually made stupid.
But yeah, so they made a hotel that cost like $4 fucking grand a night. It cost a ridiculous amount of money to build, and it's shut within a couple months. And you think, like, it's one of those decisions where you're like, yeah, no wonder your company's in the crapper. Why? This literally couldn't have been for anyone other than, like, the 3 millionaire Star Wars fans who might, for one... But that's the problem, is that if you're only catering to such a small demographic, they're not the kind of people who are going to go every week or give a shit. They'll go once and go, wow, that wasn't worth the money. And I say this as someone who wipes his ass with $100 bills. That's what rich people do, I assume.
I wouldn't
or
know.
like when or you'd be like Elon Musk and be all, well, I'm going to rebrand.
Man,
Twitter
I'm
to
divorced.
X."
I'm divorced and sad. I'm gonna rebrand Twitter to X because I'm really upset about that time in the '90s. I tried to call PayPal X. This isn't a joke.
We're gonna call everything X.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I did watch. I did watch the first episode of like Futurama's fourth return.
I have not watched.
Is it called Futurama X?
No, it's just Futurama, but it's one of those weird things where I'm like, man, I really love the first 5 seasons of the show, and then it just keeps coming back, and then they just keep making jokes of, you keep cancelling this and you keep coming back, and I'm like, I kind of think you should stay cancelled.
Honestly, yeah.
You're just not,
I still feel like
you're
that.
just not. You're not nearly as funny as you anymore, and like you're just not. Like, it's sad to be in this sort of state, but like
Keep bringing it back, and it's just like, you ended ages ago. You ended at just the right time. Please stop coming back.
Boy.
But it's like so weird. It's so weird to like have this show that's like in perpetuity, that's like in both trying to be modern and futuristic, but also is like bizarrely stuck in the past. Because it's like animation and like adult animation and shows in general have moved on from like where Futurama was when it ended, and Futurama is like still stuck there back in those. Those early days of 2003 to 5, and it's like, I don't know, there's just no soul to it, I guess. It feels odd that the episode I watched was all about like corporate executives running a show in perpetuity, which feels bizarrely like relevant, but also not by design, because obviously, we're in a whole big AI discussion, but this episode was written by people who either didn't foresee the AI thing or, had no interest in it, because none of that even comes up as even like a remote thing. I don't know. I'm happy for people who get to have Futurama back, but at the same time, I'm like,
it was fine where it ended. It didn't need to come back.
The first ending was fine. The second ending was also fine, and then every other time it's like, just go away. Go home, Futurama. You're drunk.
It's time to stop, okay? No more. Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop!
I don't know. I guess when you're like the Futurama people, and it's like it's a Matt Groening project, and he's just gonna live. He can just never work again, because I'm sure Simpsons residuals must be fucking insane.
Oh yeah.
Merchandising alone.
Anyway, this is a good place to stop.
How to make like Futurama and never fucking leave. Quick, cancel us now.